Have you ever entered a trade? You see price action going in your favor, eventually hitting your take profit, and you're still not fully happy with the result. You say to yourself, gosh, I was sure about this one, should have used a bigger lot size. Well, I think it's time for you to take your trading to the next level, and in this video I'm gonna teach you how to scale into position so you can make even more profit the next time. What we're gonna go through is when to scale into position, how to make more profit doing that, of course how to properly do it, and we're also going to have a look at some examples. Before you ever enter a trade and plan to scale into that trade, you have to ask yourself a few questions first. What move do you expect? Now this is important because if you're looking for short-term moves on the 5 to 15 minute time frame, you want to get in and get out of the market quickly, then scaling into a position is probably not the best option. However, if you're looking at the higher time frames, you see that there is quite a lot of room for price in either direction, or you're expecting a new trend to form, anything like this, well then that means you're looking for a longer term move and you'll definitely have the chance to scale into a trade, as long as you enter at the right levels. Also, do you have enough time to follow price action? Because again, if you're trading on the hourly, the 4-hour time frame, maybe you want to drop down to the 15-minute chart and look for potential entries after your first one, right? And if you are going to be trading on the lower time frames, then this is very time consuming, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you have the time required. However, you can also scale into a position on the higher time frames as well. So if you are working 9 to 5 or you don't have that much time to spend on the chart, then you can look and analyze the instruments on the daily time frame, the weekly time frame, the 4-hour time frame as well, and then you can drop down to the hourly chart and look to add up to your positions. All right, so what lot size do you use? When we're scaling into a trade, we want to make sure that we don't expose ourselves to more risk than we should. And sometimes if you're going to be looking to make an entry earlier with the idea to scale in on a later stage, well then that means you have to split your lot size accordingly. Okay, and last but not least is the setup confirmed. All right, mainly we want to scale into a position when we see that price is moving as expected, when we see that our analysis plays out very well and price action is basically confirming what we want to see. That's when you want to add up to your trade. Alright, moving on to a very basic example. Now, what is the normal way of trading? Let's say we wait for price to break above its previous resistance. That's exactly what it does here. Comes back right here, and then we enter a trade once we see that rejection off of that support, and we're expecting for price to continue higher. We could have an entry here, or some of us that are more aggressive could enter a bit earlier on the breakout without having to wait for that pullback. But anyways, what most of the traders do, they enter a trade, they place their stop loss right down here, for example, below previous structure, and they place their take profit based on, again, previous structure, right? So what happens then is we just have to wait for price to either continue higher and confirm our analysis, eventually reaching our take profit, or to reverse and, take us out of the market. Okay, now like I said, there's another way on how to trade, and using scaling into position, it means that you can actually reduce the instruments that you're looking on a daily basis, because when you manage to get in at the right times and to scale into a trade, you really have the chance to make a lot more money than if you're entering separate trades on different instruments. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that we're expecting for price to come right here, test this support, and then continue higher. What we can do then is, remember what we said, our first entry or our original entry could be at the breakout of a level or on the retest of that level once we see price, again breaking above previous resistance. Hang on, let me fix that. Breaking above previous resistance right here, and we either make our entry on the breakout or on the pullback and the retest of that level. Well, what I like to do is to enter a position earlier. Okay, so let's say I enter a position on the very first higher low that I see price creating. Alright, now I then wait for price to come right here and do exactly what I am expecting, basically to break above previous high. And once that happens, I will then enter another trade right here on the pullback and the retest of that level. Okay, remember, I don't want to see price only retesting that level, but I also want to see signs of rejection. And that would normally mean, a long wick to the downside, some type of pattern formation, or a candlestick signal. That could be an engulfing candle right at this level right here. Okay, once I see that, let's say a pin bar, I would then enter another trade and expect for price to do the same, break above its previous highs. Okay, it then comes up here, it creates a higher high, and again I'm waiting for price to make its pullback, give me another candlestick pattern signal, and once I see something like this, or something that confirms that price is rejecting that previous resistance and it's now turning into support, I will then enter and anticipate the next move higher. Okay, now there's something very important when it comes to money management and how to properly scale into a position. Let's say if you're making one entry only, what's normal is to use 1% of your account. Okay, however, if you will be making an entry earlier, which is not yet confirmed, I would suggest you only use 0.5%. Okay, so half the lot size that you would normally use. Once you see price breaking above, coming back and retesting that level where you would normally make your first entry, you add another 0.5%. Okay, now imagine that if price continues higher and confirms your expectations, you would normally make more profit than if you would enter this trade up here with 1%, because now you've got 0.5% entered at a lower level. There will be times where price will immediately come back right here and take you out of the market if that's where you place your stop loss. But trust me, over a long period of time, and once you gain more and more trades under your belt, you will see that this way of trading is profitable, because eventually the numbers will add up and you will see that there's quite a few trades which will go back into your favor, or in fact continue into your favor, and that means that 0.5% entered earlier at a lower level will make up for the losses that you would have. Alright, and then you now have 1% in total. Okay, what you see next is price going back to the upside, breaking above its previous highs, coming back, retesting again that same level right here, previous structure, rejecting that level and continuing higher. That's where you would enter again. Now again, you can use another 0.5%. But what you have to make sure is that before you enter right here, you move your stop loss on the first, maybe even on the second trade, depending on how this move looks. Okay, you have to recognize when there's a strong impulse in price, when you see momentum. In this example, we're talking about a long trade. Therefore, when you're looking at an uptrend, you have to recognize when there is a bullish momentum. And if there is a bullish momentum in the previous moves, you can then, if you want to, you can obviously enter with another 1% here. Or if, let's say, you've moved your stop loss on the first trade only, you don't only move it to break even, but what you can do is you can move your stop loss locking in some profit, let's say 1-to-1, and that means if you enter that third trade with 0.5% again, then basically you're risk free on this trade because you've just locked in 0.5% on your first trade. Alright, if price eventually confirms your trading idea again, retest previous highs, and it continues higher, what you can do is obviously you can move your stop loss on the second trade again into profit, and now you're 1% in profit. Okay, so a pretty decent way and a very profitable way as well if you know how to correctly add up to your position. It's very important that at the same time you're reducing the risk on your previous entries. Okay, and something else that you need to understand as well is that if you make your entry with 1% up here and you're not adding up to your position, once price comes up to this level, let's say you're looking at 2-to-1 setup, then that means you will make 2% profit. Not bad at all, right? But if you make an entry with 0.5% down here, another 0.5% here, another 0.5% here, you will end up making at least 3% up at this same level. Okay, so next time when you enter a trade at a break and retest setup, you wait for price to go back to the upside. Even if it comes right down here to your entry, you want to see what will happen next. If it breaks and closes below this low that you entered at, then you could expect that price might actually continue lower and eventually stop you out. But if you see price rejecting that level right here, let me just delete that, and it gives you some signals that it will actually reverse and continue back to the upside, basically continuing that uptrend which has been going on for some time now. Instead of panicking, you can use that and take advantage of that signal and enter again. Okay, and again, the most important is if you are going to be scaling into a trade, make sure to split your lot size accordingly, because at the end of the day you don't want to expose yourself to more risk than you should. Here is a trading setup example on Euro Yen, currently looking at the daily time frame, and what we see here is this initial move to the downside, and based on that move we mapped out a zone up here which was supposed to act as a resistance zone. I wanted to see price pushing inside of this zone and eventually reversing back to the downside, possibly reaching previous lows. And so this is quite a big move since we're looking at the daily time frame. That means maybe I have a chance to scale into a position to the downside. In order to do that, of course, I want to drop down to a lower time frame, such as the 4 or the hourly chart. Okay, so what we've seen recently here is price pushing lower, breaking below this previous structure. Okay, so now I want to wait for the pullback and for price to give me a lower high or to give me some rejection wicks inside of this zone. Okay, so we see price with a pullback. It looks like it's losing strength and we might actually see that lower high. Alright, so let's follow next. Here we have one long wick to the upside, and we now have another indecision candle and another one that engulfs all those previous candles right here. So let's say we make our first entry right here. We now have a clear break below previous structure right here with this impulse to the downside. We've got a pullback, we've got a lower high, and we've got a signal, a rejection signal with those couple of wicks to the upside. Okay, so let's say we place our stop loss right up here above previous key level, and we're looking for that move down, which is supposed to potentially go as low as those previous lows right here. Okay, so this setup is around 1 to 2.2. And let's see, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. What we have to do from now on is to follow price action and to make sure that we don't miss out on the opportunity to scale into this position. In order to do that, we want to see price breaking below previous structure, coming back for a retest and continuing lower. Okay, so here we have the next sharp move to the downside. We do actually have that break below as well, but with this candle is now confirmed. Okay, so I would normally place a zone or just a level at this previous low, and I want to see a rejection off of that zone now, because price is broken below it, comes back for a retest, and as soon as I see a trading signal here, again a rejection candle, I would then make sure to re-enter again. I would say this is not strong enough, price is coming back to the upside. Here we have a stronger bearish candle, another one, and we eventually break below that level right here, which on the 4 hour it looks like this. But if we drop down to a lower time frame, you can see we had some type of a sideways move, and we've now broken below that as well, and that way price action confirms our trading idea for a downside continuation. So in this case, I would enter again. I would probably place my stop loss above this structure right here, and then I can actually go for exactly the same target as my original trade. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and as soon as I enter this trade, I would then move my stop loss on my first trade to break even. Okay, we then follow price action. We've got another pullback, and on the very next breakout, you can actually use that as your third entry as well. And this is how you scale into a position. Remember, the most important thing is to secure profits, go risk-free whenever you have the chance to, and of course follow price action and make sure that you're taking the right entries only after the market has confirmed your analysis. So that's pretty much all. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down below what do you think of this way of trading. Do you scale into positions yourself? hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. There's a lot more content coming out. Also check out all of the links below this video. Join our free Telegram channel and follow us on TradingView if you want to see our daily setups and trading ideas. That's all from me now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to watch our last 2 videos where you can find more valuable information. Check out our channel for more trading related videos. I wish you all a successful trading and I'll see you next time.